All right, I want to welcome everybody out to officially the LSG Live Texas High School Football Talk Show. It's on Facebook Live. You might be seeing it here right now live, but chances are you're probably seeing it repeated on Twitter, on YouTube. We throw it everywhere. So welcome, and with me always, Grant Goodwin. Grant, how you doing?
I'm good. Thursday night before we go and catch a glimpse of Texarkana Pleasant Grove Hawks tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Excited to see them. And that wing.
Well, I tell you, I don't have, one of my regular features was going to be unveiling the shirt I'm wearing, right? That some booster club gave me, but I'm traveling now, so I don't have one with me. It's just a shirt, so nothing.
Hey, it's a nice Tommy Hilfiger type shirt or something.
I think it's chaps, actually.
Chaps. I got a few of those too.
Right. And how about you? What is that? That's a
Westlake coming right off their win over Lake Travis. You're wearing a Chaps shirt.
There you go. I didn't even think about that. I mean, that's what I planned.
Yeah.
Nice. So before we get going into the subjects, I want to do the question. Let y'all guys think about it, start some feedback on here. The question is simply, what are some of your favorite things about high school football in your town? Some things, some maybe traditions, some history, some things that happen that you really look forward to each week as it relates to Texas high school football. So, feel free. We'll see it on the screen, and we'll give some feedback.
Great.
How about you, Grant? What's some of your favorite things about high school football?
I like going to the mid to small towns that aren't multi-school districts. And I like the one school town that has a highly touted game or team. And going in all the pageantry, seeing people lined up outside the stadium waiting for the gates to open.
Yeah.
The band's into it. There's just thousands of people. It's 3 rows deep, on the fences. You don't get that in any other sport in high school. And, some of these high schools outdraw colleges, Look at Stephenville. Tarleton State's a pretty good program.
Right.
And Stephenville High School outdraws Tarleton State in Tarleton State Stadium. On Friday, they'll have, 10,000 people at a Stephenville game, 10 to 15,000 people. And then the next day, Tarleton might have 3,000,
Right.
Texas State is the same way. I know Commerce is down a little bit, but A&M Commerce might have, several thousand people. But Commerce on Friday night will pack those, stands. I mean, go look at Cisco. Cisco Junior College probably doesn't have 1,000, but Cisco High School on Friday night before will have just that place whole decked out in black and gold. So that's what I like. I think that's really cool. Seeing 2 deep around the fence. It was like that for Gilmer Carthage this year. Yoke we went to, it was just packed. I mean, you couldn't, cuss a cat without getting fur in your mouth because it was so crowded, all those games. And that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I like there's a sweet spot that's around. Well, it's 2A to 4A basically is the sweet area where you get teams like a Cuero, like a Wimberley, places like that where that's what they do on Friday.
Yeah. Hey, and you bring up Wimberley. I've been to a few Wimberley games in Wimberley, and with the stadium sitting where it's at and the Devil's Backbone, above the stadium up there. That's one of the most unique settings in Texas high school football. Is Wimberley.
And it's got some serious town spirit. Yeah, we were just talking about traditions, and Texas Bob McSpadden was talking about the concession stand with the grilled cooked burgers going, and he said that's mostly in the small towns, but that is good stuff.
The best grilled burgers at a concession stand in any of all of Texas high school football is in Hallettsville. They've got
nice
a grill, a barrel grill, kind of like an old smoker, but they cut it in half, probably the ag department. And that thing's got to be 10 to 12 feet long. Just full of just, wood underneath. They do charcoal, throw some wood on top of it, throw the burgers on top of that. Hallettsville was an awesome experience, and that concession stand, the smell blowing. I don't know how those players with that stuff just blowing across the field. As you can tell, I like to eat, so I had a hard time too.
Right. Nice. All right, so I guess let's just jump in, and what do you have first?
I kind of wanted to just go over the Lone Star Gridiron top 10s in 4A and 3A. 4A Division 1, 4A Division 2, 3A Division 1, 3A Division 2. And see where you maybe think that some teams could maybe make movements this week, or some that maybe, we could have higher or lower, And
well, I tell you what, you with sideline to sideline, you guys focus on that 4A, 3A sweet spot. But let's start at the top. Let's start at 6A and understand we'll have more to talk about down in the 4As and 3As.
Yeah, hey, 6A with Austin Westlake, I almost thought a few weeks ago that maybe Westlake was a little overrated based on what they had lost. They were undefeated, but going into the game against Lake Travis, I really didn't think they'd have a chance. Well, that Westlake defense stepped up and really made that Lake Travis quarterback move in the pocket. He's been tearing, that Lake Travis quarterback's been tearing people up all year, but nobody's put pressure on him. And he's been dang near perfect. Yeah. Well, Westlake stepped up, made him move around, and they showed that maybe, he's not as effective moving around, throwing on the run, to his left or right. And Westlake did a great job in doing that defensively. And then Westlake, with Nikita Watson, their running back just pounding away at that Lake Travis defense. And you saw that, Westlake should be, I say should be, could be considered top 3 easily, and we've got them, up there, pretty high. But
we have them at 4 right now.
4, yeah.
And I tell you, the reason I normally I wouldn't have given Westlake much of a shot, but seeing Hayes Consolidated play both of them, Hayes was in the game against Lake Travis late in the third quarter. And the only thing that Lake Travis would be able to pull out was that long pass over the middle, and Hayes couldn't cover that. So that's what eventually led them to pull away.
What did that running game do to the Lake Travis defense?
What's that?
That Hayes running game that they kind of make on? What did the Lake Travis defense?
It was steady, and it just kept working. It wasn't like 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. It was like 1 yard, 2 yard, 8 yards, 1 yard, 3 yards, 9 yards. So it was just relentless, and eventually would break some. So they are susceptible, if you keep driving it at them, to giving up some yardage. And like I said, Hayes scored a lot against Lake Travis. When they played Westlake, I thought, even though they scored, Westlake handled it pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought, Westlake has a chance in this game against Lake Travis if they can shut down the long bomb, the Madden touchdown. Right. Then they can match them everywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
So yeah.
Do that for sure. Westlake did. So. Yeah,
definitely.
I'm thinking about 4A and 3A in our rankings. Bernie made a big impression again this week. They had beaten Wimberley a few weeks ago, and Klutz, the quarterback, outdueled Weeks, the quarterback for Wimberley. And we thought, okay, is that a flash in the pan or whatever? But they go out and beat a very good Fredericksburg team again this week, 47-30 by 17 points. And they're starting to make moves right now. I don't think the AP has Bernie even getting votes, I think kudos to Lone Star Gridiron for having Bernie at number 8, 7 or 8, something like that.
9. Well, actually, they made their debut on the rankings at number 9 this week, and it was on the strength of those 2 really good back-to-back games.
Yeah, undefeated, and they got a pretty good Canyon Fisher Lake team coming up this tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So that'll be a chance for them to make some more noise. And then I think you're spot on with Carthage at number 1. I mean they just dismantled, beat the brakes off of a very good Kilgore team. And then
a good Kilgore
down there.
Yeah.
Henderson at number 7, and they've got that Kilgore team that just lost to Carthage, and I think this is a chance. I think Kilgore Henderson is a chance for Kilgore to make a move too. I think Kilgore might win this game. Quarterback Buddy Jackson. I mean, he's just so tough to stop. He's dual threat. I mean, he can hit you through the air, but really he's going to make your defensive ends commit on that zone read, and he's just going to just read. He reads perfectly, and I really think that Kilgore is going to make a move in these rankings this week after playing Henderson and quarterback Trey Hall, which I think that Kilgore defense is tooled enough to slow down Trey Hall a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think about in D2? We've had Cuero sitting at the top the whole season, mainly because, they haven't lost, and it's hard to move somebody out. But West Orange did actually start playing better than we thought they were going to. So they've moved up to number 2.
Yeah, with Cuero and West Orange Stark, I mean, those two are on a collision course right now in the playoffs. And whatever stadium holds that, I hope they bring in extra bleachers, portable bleachers, because that game right there might be the game of the year. Terry and I got a chance to see Cuero Yoakum, and then we went down and saw West Orange Stark and Kennedale out in Nacogdoches a couple of weeks ago. And that's strength on strength. That Cuero defense is really tough. Then you got Jordan Whittington. You put Jordan Whittington and Cuero back in the Wildcat, I think anybody's going to stop him. Nobody has. Now, Sweeney did a great job on him, and he still had 189 yards, all-purpose yards, Whittington did, yet Sweeney actually did a really good job on him. Hats off, basically, first of all, to Sweeney for a second year in a row. They had a chance to win it this year. They had a chance to win it last year. Cuero just eked out the win. Sometimes these, great teams like this find a way to win.
Yeah, let me ask you a question about that Cuero team. We all know Jordan Whittington. He's everything. I mean, he even looks the part. He looks so good. He could be walking and looks like an athlete.
Top junior country right now. By most
is he one of these players that if he gets a little nicked up, Cuero collapses, or do they have some depth?
Reinsberger, the quarterback, carrying Grant, the running back, they can pick up the load. No, Cuero does not want to lose Whittington at all. So I don't know. Look, if I'm Cuero, yes, I do not want to go in and play in the region finals against West Orange Stark without Whittington, because that throws all kinds of questions into it. But I think they could, if Whittington were to go down or not be 100%, I think Cuero's good enough on both sides of the ball, especially on their interior lines, offensively and defensively. I think that's enough to overcome that. Though they do want to go in with a loaded deck against a West Orange.
Right. I'm just thinking if there's an opportunity maybe to rest him, leading up to the playoffs, or if, like you said, maybe he's just a little tired, anything like that. If they're still good to go, and it sounds like they are.
Yeah, I think they are. I think you could rest Whittington, and they've got speed all over that field, and again that defense. I mean, heck, they held Yoakum to under 3 touchdowns, I think it was 3 or 4 touchdowns, something like that. and that's a very good Yoakum offense, and that's how good that Cuero defense is. So, yeah. Another one.
Yoakum's one of those teams that kind of fell off our chart. What's up with them?
Yoakum, well, I think we still have them in 3A Division I, still ranked number 1. They're coming off that win against Hallettsville. I think we got Wall number 2. Great thing is we've pretty much seen in person, at least Terry and I have, most of these 4A Division I and Division II top 5s and top 10s, and then the 3A guys, Division I, Division II. So we've already got a really good feel on how these regions we think could, come out. And I still think it's going to be Yoakum, Hallettsville in the rematch or that region final.
Yeah.
Winner of that probably goes to Arlington. And a rematch of that one would be a lot like Cuero, Western Orange Stark. I mean, just a titanic matchup. You better have a stadium that holds 25,000 because it's going to be nuts. It's going to be a madhouse. I mean, Hallettsville had every chance in the world to win that game. Yoakum had a chance to stretch their lead early. There was turnover on each side. It was kind of like that Western Orange Stark Kennedale game. You just don't. You came out of there thinking maybe, okay, did the best team win? Yeah, but maybe they didn't. But we'll see again. It's a round robin. That district is crazy.
I've seen a lot of games this year where we have two teams that go up against each other. Obviously, one wins, one loses, but we don't feel anything worse about the team that lost, like Cannondale, like Yoakum when they lost, like Hallettsville when they lost. Somebody has to win, but these are still good teams, great teams that could go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. When I walked out of the Western Orange Stark Kennedale game, I thought, okay, both of these are still region favorites. I walked out of Hallettsville, Yoakum. Well, okay, still, both of these are region favorites, and they're all 4 of those. You put them in a pot, and they could all easily make it in, to the state championship game. I mean, that's how good.
Yeah. Gilmer's another good example. Yeah.
Gilmer's good. Yeah. I mean, Gilmer. I mean, there's a lot of people jumping off the Gilmer bandwagon right now. And I don't think you need to bail yet on Gilmer. I mean, their 2 losses were against 2 of the best teams in the state. Carthage, in my opinion, is one of maybe the best team in the state right now.
I was going to say that out of all the classes, I think Carthage and Manville are the 2 teams that have some separation. The rest, I think,
absolutely
are real close.
You're right. I think a lot of people thought Carthage and Argyle were on this collision course, and I still think they are, but it was one of those too close to call. Argyle here lately struggled a little bit. They had a little bit of a tough one against Paris. I don't think they were clicking all last week, Argyle. Argyle's first 4 possessions ended in punts, I believe. I mean, they didn't score a point in their first 4 possessions. Now they scored over 60 points in the whole game after that, so it doesn't really matter. But right now, I think, Carthage has separated themselves, much like Manville has. People are. Yeah. I mean, Carthage is starting to look unbeatable. We put the eye test on them against Gilmer a few weeks ago, and I'm just having a hard time right now seeing anybody that I think would beat Carthage straight up.
Right, and I guess we are kind of running late on time, so let's talk about where you're going this week. You're going to see Texarkana Pleasant Grove, right?
Yeah, Terry and I'll be leaving for Texarkana tomorrow afternoon, going to see that Pleasant Grove team that just knocked off Gilmer last week. Pleasant Grove runs that wing tee, which I love to see that offense with all the spread offenses and stuff. I love the spread offense, but just going to see the old school wing tee, it's kind of cool. And then seeing somebody run it like a Texarkana Pleasant Grove and Kennedale, Kennedale ran it well. Pleasant Grove's taking on Atlanta, should beat Atlanta, but there's 2 factors here that could make it a little bit closer than what people are thinking. And it is Pleasant Grove's homecoming, and we know what that does to young men get distracted a little bit, And 2, is there going to be a little bit of a lull or letdown over that, after that emotional win against Gilmer in Gilmer that had to go down to the last 36 seconds. I mean, that's a lot
Right.
for a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid to process. When you put all your heart and everything physically and mentally into winning a game like you did against Gilmer. Can you duplicate that performance against a team like Atlanta, who is down a little bit? But let me tell you, Atlanta still has speed. There's a reason that Atlanta is a track sensation every year. They've got speed, and it's sitting out there on the football field. That Pleasant Grove defense that is very good, are they going to fall asleep, down a little bit emotionally after, is there a lull? If there is, then Atlanta can sting them a little bit. But I expect Pleasant Grove coach Josh Gibson to come in there, have them focused, and walk out of there with a convincing win.
Yeah, let me ask you another question about the Alto Yellow Jackets, a team that traditionally has been really strong. We've got an article that's actually about to go up here as soon as we get done, asking, is their winning streak at an end? They have a current winning streak of winning records, 29 years, sitting at 1-5 right now with a district loss. What is the story with Alto?
Alto was highly touted at the beginning of the year, preseason.
Yeah.
They dropped a close one to, I think it was Winona in the season opener, where they had actually led Winona by 2 touchdowns, I believe. At some point in the game, it was 2, maybe even 3 touchdowns, and Winona started coming back. Maybe, and I can't say for sure, but maybe it's numbers, I guess, maybe for Alto. That community is not growing, so they've still got, athletes, but, maybe it is just a little bit of a numbers thing, and, the region around them is getting a little bit stronger too. So could be some of that.
Yeah, you've got San Augustine and Price Carlisle both sitting at 6-0. Was it
And Price Carlisle
sitting
man,
at 5-1?
Price Carlisle from a doormat to every year, all of a sudden now they're a juggernaut, and that was traditionally a band school forever.
Right. Yeah. So I do want to remind everybody to go check out the website, LoneStarGridiron.com. Another article that just went out earlier was what we call our, what do we call that thing? Let me look. The For the Record, it's called, where we update the number of records and the specific records that have been changed that week. In last week's games, 117 records got modified. And we're talking career records, game records, season records. I mean, that's the beauty of Lone Star Gridiron, unlike a lot of the other sites that give you the top 10 historic passing, games. We have like the top 200 and top 300 and things like that.
Yeah, how about Ben Ponder, by the way, from the Bells Panthers, throwing 11 touchdown passes last week against Trenton. I know Trenton, they're a fairly new football school, traditionally baseball and basketball, but Ponder, his brother broke records, right, a few years ago.
Number one all time, 11 in one game. Right. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
So, shout out to Ben Ponder.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Yep.
All right, and before you sign off, I just want to say, hey, remember, we have helmet heads. Actually, we don't have them. Go to Amazon and find them. Look for helmet heads. They're very cool. They light up, and they display your Lone Star Gridiron helmet.
Awesome.
All right, any final thoughts? Nice.
I always thought Amazon at first was a dating site for large women, but it's not. You can actually get goods.
Nice. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank you, Grant, for joining me, and we'll talk to you all next week.
All right. Adios. Enjoy your Friday games. Travel safe.
All right. Take care.
LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.